Okay, your class is being recorded now. I'll take attendance for today. And before the session ends, I'll take the attendance again. And whoever have come after this will get only 1 hour attendance. Okay. Right. Good morning, students. In the previous session, we have seen about the Rayleigh-Ritz method, how Rayleigh-Ritz method is taking potential energy approach to solve the problems, maybe about the spring problems or the elastic problems, elastic material problems. For our structures, how we are going to use the potential energy approach or the Rayleigh-Ritz method to solve it, that we are going to see today. Right? Am I audible? Anyone, please? Is there any disturbance that you're getting?
Yes, ma'am, you're audible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am, indicates, are you getting the disturbance or
No
are you?
disturbance, ma'am.
All right, thank you very much. I'll start sharing my screen now. But before going to this, I want to clarify that, see, in finite element methods, what we are learning now, the methodologies, maybe the direct approach or the variational approach or the weighted residual approach, all these things have different scenarios taken into consideration. It is not like under FEM you have Rayleigh-Ritz method or the weighted residual method. One of the methods to reach to the solution when there are complexities are all these methodologies. All right. So there is slight difference in finite element approach, Rayleigh-Ritz approach, and variational approach. But all these things give us an approximated answers. So that we have to think. Now in today's class, see, I'll start sharing my screen with you. Are you able to see the screen? Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If I'm not wrong, we have stopped at this problem last class. That is the first problem, the spring problem we have done. Okay. We will solve another 4 problems today. All right. In which uh, different categories of using a potential energy approach. That is, when I tell potential energy approach, it means Rayleigh-Ritz approach. Okay, in various questions, maybe in your previous year paper questions, or if you see, there are very rare situations that Rayleigh-Ritz, use Rayleigh-Ritz method to solve the problem or such things. Directly it is given like use minimum potential energy approach or taking potential energy approach into consideration. What would be the solution? All right. So we have to understand that when I'm telling about potential energy approach, it directly means that I'm talking about Rayleigh-Ritz method. All right. So we'll go for the next problem. So yeah, slideshow. Right. Are you able to see the screen? You have a question, please note it down as fast as possible. This question is very much similar to what we have solved in the previous class. Okay. Assemble equations of equilibrium for the given system of springs shown in the figure by direct approach. Show that the minimization of potential energy uh, yields the same results. Here we are asked to compare the solutions of direct approach and also the Rayleigh-Ritz approach would yield us the same result or not. So that is the question that is given to us. So from the concept what we have learned from the Rayleigh-Ritz, guys, are you able to see me? Sorry, there was a technical issue. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. So sorry for that. All right. Please check.
No, ma'am.
What? No. You're not able to see the screen.
Madam, screen కనబడతలేదు.
Any of the other people have the same issue? All right. I'm sharing it again. Now please check. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am. You are able to.
Ma'am,
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Now, please take the figure properly. Guys, we don't have moderator today, so please do not unmute yourself. I can't keep checking you people. Sahani, number 63. I've muted you, but make sure you keep yourself muted. I can't keep coming back. All right. Guys, please keep yourself muted. All right. Did you take the problem? Are we ready to go?
No, ma'am.
Faster, please. Take the question. Here the question is about comparing the answers of two different type of solutions. We have to try to solve the problem using direct approach first. That's our first question. And then we have to show that when we use the potential energy approach also, we are going to get the same answer. All right. So it means that when we are solving such problems, either you go for direct approach or you use potential energy approach, both of them can give you same result. All right. So it is like solution is one, and to reach that solution, what kind of approach or what kind of path you take is uh, that is the question now. All right. We'll go for the solution. See, first we'll have to go for the direct approach. That's our first question. All right. Now, if at all, what does the direct approach mean? I clearly said you, constructing the stiffness matrix for the given problem is the direct approach what we have seen. All right. So for the spring problem, to go for the to construct the stiffness matrix, we have to go for the free body diagrams for all the three nodes. Do we have three nodes here? If you check, this is our node 1, this is our node 2, and this is our node 3. All right. So now for these three nodes, we have to have an individual free body diagrams to solve the problem under direct approach. All right. We'll go for this. Free body diagrams at node 1. All right. Now, let us consider that the displacements at individual nodes be u1, u2, u3 respectively. All right. That is for node 1 it is u1, node 2 it is u2, and node 3 it is u3. All right. See, in what way the solution is given to you, it would be better you learn it in this way only. All right. It is always that a question is given and I'll directly fill off the form like, I'll write the direct stiffness matrix. No, that cannot happen. You have to show how did you reach over there. So what is given and what are your terms, what is the terms you're using. Many times we can use delta also for displacements. So how are we going to use all these things? If you specify it in the beginning of the problem, that will be good. All right. So I'm taking displacements as u1, u2, and u3. Guys, this is not acceptable. You people are unmuting yourselves and talking. Who is that? Who is that? Can't you be conscious enough that when you enter the class, you will disturb the class that is already going? You're already late. And you're doing like this. Behave yourselves properly, all right? All right, let's continue. Now, there are displacements in the nodes. That's a different part. And because there are springs attached to the nodes, there will always be the extensions in the springs due to the displacements at the nodes. So that is the other part. All right. So we have to consider what are the extensions at springs 1 and 2 and 3. We have 3 springs. If you see the figure, we have 3 springs attached to 3 nodes. All right. So whatever extensions you get of the springs will be related to the displacements of the individual nodes. So depending upon that, we are going to get the solution now. All right. So let us see. If you see the extension in spring 1 is directly the displacement at node 1. Node 1 is related to spring 1 is only attached to node 1. If you are seeing your figure, that will help you more. All right. Just check the figure. Let me check. Yes, I'll draw the figure for you again in this slide also. That would be helpful. All right. Right here, we have a spring, and then we have node 1, and then we have another spring, and then node 2, and then we have another spring where we have node 3. All right. Now, when I'm looking into node 1, spring 1 is attached to node 1 alone. So whatever the displacement happening in node 1 will be the extension for the spring 1. All right. When I'm seeing for node 2, see node 2 is attached to spring 2 is attached to node 2, but spring 2 is also attached to node 1. So when I need the overall extension of spring 2, I have to consider the extension, that is the displacement at node 1 also and node 2 also. All right. So the extension in spring 2, all right, we are taking that as delta 2. In the figure it is already, you can mention that as delta 1 as extension in spring 1, delta 2 extension in spring 2, delta 3 extension in spring 3. All right. So delta 2 will become U2 minus U1. So can you tell me what is the extension in spring 3? Anyone? Extension in spring 3?
U3 minus U2 minus U1.
Why will U1 come into picture? Node 3 is not at all attached. Spring 3 is not attached to node 1. So U1, will it come into picture?
U3 minus U2, ma'am.
That's all. U3 minus U2. I have clearly mentioned you have to check to which nodes the spring is attached. We're not going for the whole structure. When I'm looking into the extension of this spring, the extension of this spring is with respect to only 2 nodes to which it is attached. It doesn't have to do with the other end. All right. So your answers are extension for the springs will become U1 delta is equal to delta 1, delta 2 is U2 minus U1, delta 3 U3 minus U2. All right. Now we will go for considering the free body diagram for nodes 1, 2 and 3. All right, separately. See, this is the free body diagram for node 1. If you clearly check. Mr. Sahani, I don't know, it's number 63.
Yes, ma'am.
You are always muting you and you're unmuting yourselves and disturbing the class. This is not happening this way. You have to ask me anything, you ask directly. This is the third time I'm muting you again. Yes, you have to speak anything?
No, ma'am. Network problem.
Network problem unte mute enduku potudra urkurke. When you enter, you make sure that you mute yourself. I've muted you. And if at all you have any doubt, please raise your hand. I'll get the notification. I'll come back and ask you what is your doubt. All right? Please do not disturb the class. Right. This is the free body diagram for node 1. Node 1 is attached to springs on the either sides. All right. So when it is about the force on the either sides where the springs are there, the force will become the stiffness of the spring and its extension. All right. So for node 1 to the spring side 1, it is K1 delta 1, and to spring 2, it is K2 delta 2. And also a force F1 is given at node 1. So this is the free body diagram for our node 1. If at all I have this diagram, what will be my equation? That you have to check. All right. And this is the free body diagram of node 2. Same as node 1 only. But node 2 is associated with spring 2 and spring 3. All right. And finally, node 3. Node 3 have only one spring attached, and to the other side, it has a load applied. All right. So I'll give you the equation for node 1. You have to form the equations for node 2 and node 3, and we'll cross check whether the concept is right from your side and mine. This is the equation I could get. See, K1 delta 1, which I'm considering to the left side, is opposite, plus K2 delta 2 plus F1, which are to the right side, is equal to 0. If at all you are not taking it as 0 also, what will the equation become? K1 delta 1 should be equal to F1 plus K2 delta 2. That's the equation I could get from the free body diagram of node 1. What would be for the node 2? Only one member, you keep your hand raised. I'll ask you. If you're just mute, okay, Vandana. Shravanti can tell me about node 3, okay? Vandana.
Minus K2 delta 2 plus
Yes.
K3 delta 2 plus F2
Yes. Right, thank
is
you.
equal to 0.
Thank you, very good. Shravanti, you can speak about node 3.
Minus K3 delta 3 plus F3 is equal to 0.
Right. Thank you very much. So you're understanding how it is going. Others also should understand how it is. All right. Now see, we are done with the equations 1, 2 and 3 at a node, different nodes. All right. So now we have to substitute these values of, see, in these equations, we had the values of delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3 already taken with respect to the displacements available in the nodes. Did we see or not? Guys, are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What we should do is we have to substitute the values of delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3 in all these equations. All right. Now see, substituting the values of extensions. In equation 1, if I substitute the value of delta 1 and delta 2, this is my equation. Please try keeping the delta values in the other two equations also. Did we reach here? The only thing is we have to substitute the values of delta in the formed equations. That's all. Give me a yes, please, if you're done.
Yes, ma'am.
Done, ma'am.
All okay. Now, in this equations, it is your turn now to write in the form of yes.
Here K3 it's U3 minus U2.
Just a second. Right. All right. Thank you. Right. Now we know that we have equations like Ku is equal to F is the generalized matrix form where we can reach. All right. So from the equations we already have, what you must be doing is just substitute. You have to rewrite these equations where you can take K terms common and U terms common and all the F terms to one side. Just rewrite that and write it in form of a matrix. That's your turn now. I'll just give you the matrix form at the end. Just rewrite what equation you have. Suppose the first equation we have, what I can get, minus K1 U1 plus K2 U2 minus K2 U1 is equal to F. Alright, so now here I'll take the terms U1 common. Then what I can get? Minus K1 minus K2 U1 plus K2 U2 is equal to F. That's the equation. So I have taken all the K terms separately, U terms separately. Considering all the common terms. So you do that for every equation and assemble that in a form of a matrix where K matrix into U matrix will give you the F matrix. This is the matrix form where you'll reach. So you have to tell me whether you are getting the same answer or not. Please do not take very long time. We have 4 problems to solve today. It's just reassembling the equations which you already have. Yes, any persons who could reach to this point? Not very hard. You just have to reassemble the equations. You're taking long. None of you?
Completed, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Any more? Right, but you have the equations with you. You just have to reassemble and make sure you get this final equation. So what I'll do, I'll consider this matrix form as equation number 1. All right, K into U is equal to F. This is the matrix form, or this is the values or the formulated values of the element, individual elements for every spring, the whole structure what is given to us using direct approach. We have taken the direct approach first. All right. So what is the second question in the same that is given to us is we have to assemble the equations using potential energy approach also, and have to check whether equation number 1 is same with the answer that we could get from the potential energy approach. All right. So we'll start with using potential energy approach of Rayleigh-Ritz method, how this problem can be solved. All right. So this is the potential energy equation we can get. We have 3 springs. So the strain energy in 3 springs is half K1 delta 1 square plus half K2 delta 2 square plus half K3 delta 3 square. How this one has come? We have already seen in the derivation. All right. And the other 3 with respect to the external forces and its individual extensions or displacements of the nodes. So this comes under work potential and this comes under strain energy. So this is the complete potential energy equation for our given system of springs. Let me tell you, in the previous problem, the equations were given to us. Here, you have created the potential energy equation by yourself with the understanding what we have seen in the derivation. All right. The chances of forming potential energy equation by yourselves are more in the problems when you are going for the exams. Very rarely potential energy equation will be given to you. All right. So what we should do now? What is the next step when we are going for the Rayleigh-Ritz problem? We have seen in the previous class a problem we solved where we could solve the problem with Rayleigh-Ritz only. So what is the next step we should go? One of you. Keep your hand raised.
Partial.
Who is that?
Nitin, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, Nathan. Speak.
Partial differentiation with respect to K1.
Do you think K1 is the variable? Will the stiffness change in the springs?
No, ma'am.
Then what will be the variable?
Delta 1.
All right. Extension in the springs is with respect to the...
Ma'am.
Exactly. That is what I was telling. Thank you very much. The extension in the springs depends upon the displacements of the nodes. That is why delta terms what we have are in the terms of U. Is it not? In the starting of the problem itself, we have seen extension in the springs are in terms of the displacements of the nodes. All right. Displacements always happens at the nodes. Right. So here, whatever the delta terms we have, those delta terms have to be written in terms of U1, U2 and U3 because we already have them. All right. So what you have to do after doing that, we have to do the partial differentiation with respect to the individual displacements. All right. So what you do, you better substitute the values of delta 1, delta 2 and delta 3 in the same equation. Everyone. So the equation will become like this. The whole equation will become in terms of K and U. So when you see the potential energy equation now, you have the terms K, U and F, which is our standard form of considering. K into U is equal to F. So we can rewrite that in that way. So did you substitute the values of delta in the equation? Did you get the same answer?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. What you do is, now for the Rayleigh-Ritz approach, what we know, we have to individually, now for the minimizing using potential energy, we have to do the delta, dou pi by dou ui is equal to 0. That is what is the case here now. So we have to do the partial differentiation of this equation with respect to u1 once, u2 once, and u3 once. Now let's start doing. I'll give you the first equation. Partial differentiation of the given equation with respect to u1. And it is equated to 0. That is minimizing the given potential energy. Partial differentiation dou pi by dou u1 is equal to 0. So whatever the equation you get, if you equate it to 0, you end up with this final equation. K1 plus K2 into U2 minus K2 U2 is equal to F1. That's the first equation what we get. Do the partial differentiation for equation 2 also. That is dou pi by dou U2 and equate it to 0. Do all the three, and the only thing what you have to do is after you do all the three differentiations, you have to compare with the answers that we have got in the direct approach and check whether it is same or not. If I can clearly see that equation 1 is exactly the same what we have got in the direct approach. So this is the equation 2, that is differentiating the potential energy and equating it to 0 with respect to U2. Is this the same equation that you got? Anyone? Yes, please. Partial differentiation should not be a big task. Partial differentiation is just where you have those terms you have to differentiate. The rest of the terms would be 0 directly. So when you're doing with U2, this term will be 0. Here you can have a term here. This term will be 0 and this term will be 0. So you have to differentiate only these three terms. Anyone who could get this equation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, 1 yes.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
this is, thank you. And this is the equation for the last term, the partial differentiation of the potential energy with respect to U3. That is the displacement at node 3 and equating it to 0. So when we do this term will be 0, this term will be 0, this term will be 0, and this term will be 0. So you have to do the partial differentiation only for two terms and equate it to 0. So if you clearly check the equation 2 and relate it to equation 1, is it same or not? Please cross check. I have only one slide in front of me, but you have your notes with you. So you should be able to analyze it faster. Guys, I need the answer, please. Is it same or are there any changes?
Same, ma'am.
So we can reach to a conclusion that either we go for the potential energy approach or you go for the direct approach. The end result, what we are getting, is the same. So which path you take will be your choice unless and until it is mentioned. Who is that? If this disturbance keep continuing, I may stop the class and conclude that this topic is completed. Please, I request you not to check my patience. Right. Unless and until in any question it is mentioned to which approach you have to go. As in this question, they are asked to assemble the stiffness matrix, assemble the equations of equilibrium in direct approach and then compare to the Rayleigh-Ritz approach. Because it is given, we have gone for direct approach and also the potential energy approach. It is given. If at all it is not given, it would be clearly your choice whether free body diagrams is easy for you or forming an equation and differentiating it would be easy for you. All right. The ultimate thing is we need the solution. That is the analysis part. We need the stiffness matrix related to the force matrix with respect to the displacements, and that can give us the analysis. All right. So the thing is, if at all we see from the point side, if at all free body diagram, we literally saw 3 to 4 slides to go with. And potential energy approach, one equation just differentiated with respect to whatever variables are there, and we could get this in one slide. That is what I'm trying to tell. Okay, it is far easier if you are clear with the concept of partial differentiation and to differentiate the extensions in the spring and the extensions in the node separately. What happens in the spring is the deformation. What happens at the node is the displacement. So try to understand that clearly. All right. So here we have understood that both are giving us the same result. All right. And have to solve also in one problem. We have done direct approach also. We have done Rayleigh-Ritz also. So what I'll do, I'll give you the next problem where you have to solve with the numericals. Here, it is not about only the derivations. All right, you have to solve and give the final answer. We have reached the matrix point. In that matrix, you have to substitute the numericals what is given to you and give the final answer here. All right, so this is your question 3. Please note it down. I will give you only 15 minutes to solve it. This is hardly a 2 marks question. All right. It will not take a longer time. So hardly 15 minutes I can give you because it is very much new. All right. Determine the displacements of node 1 and 2. We have 2 nodes here. I'll show where they are. Right. This is node 1 and this is node 2. All right. Nodes 1 and 2 in the given system of springs. Here there are 3 springs but 2 nodes. Note that please. In the previous case, 3 springs, 3 nodes. All right. Now here they are specifically asking you use minimum potential energy principle to assemble the equations. They're asking you for the solution of displacements. They're asking you the values of u, to find out the values of u using potential energy approach. So you have to assemble the pi equation here. How you do that? You have to check now. All right, start solving. Take the problem, take the figure clearly. See here it is clearly mentioned. K1 is associated with delta 1. That is stiffness of spring 1 and the other one is extension in spring 1. And the value of stiffness is given for individual springs. And at both the nodes, we have 2 different loads acting in the same direction. Excuse me. Are you done with the figure? Are you done with the figure, guys?
No, ma'am.
Do it faster. We have 2 more problems to solve, among which one problem is your previous year question paper problem. So that is more important to concentrate. Did you take the problem? Guys, did you take the problem? I want you to take the figure first. I need a yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Because you're done, I'm stopping to share my screen. Now it's your time for you to solve the problem all by yourself using potential energy approach. And then I will check, then we'll see whether the solution what you have got and what the actual solution is right or not. Right, we have 74 people available here. When I call your name, give me a yes, please. I got to know that the other faculty are doing this because you're just leaving the screens and going. I have to check in my class how many members are doing that. In previous class, I understood 2 of them were doing that. I called your name and you were not there. Let's see now if who are here and who are just logged in and left off the screen. Give me a yes once I call your name, okay? Depending upon that, I'll consider your attendance. I'm telling you, I'm taking the attendance by the time you solve your problem. Okay? Rahim? Rahim? Rahim is not here. Okay. All right. Number 71, Rahman?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You're there or you have just come?
No, there.
Right.
Problem.
All right. Do it. Number 77, Syed.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Abdul Razak?
Yes, ma'am.
Fayaz? Number 27, Fayaz, 15 series. Fayaz is absent. Good. Number 45.
Present,
15
ma'am.
series 49. Can you pronounce your name?
Conan.
Conan. Thank you. I was pronouncing it wrong till now. All right. Thank you.
It's okay, ma'am.
Ravi Shankar. Number 71 of 15 series. Ravi Shankar. Okay. 15 series 55. Farhan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Fifteen series 79. Sai.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. 101. Vamshi.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Yes, yes, I got it. Thank you. Vamshi is done. Good. Oh, we have another Vamshi also. 102.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Number 41. Sai Anudeep.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. 63. Sahani. Sahani.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Number 77. Rajender. Number 77. Rajender. Very well. Absent. Number 94. Can't you wait until I call your name? Kaja. Right. It seems like you're present. Number 94. Kaja. 16 series 94, Kaja.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Bilal. 17 series number 1, Bilal. Absent. Chandrakant, number 2.
Present, ma'am.
Right. Charit.
Yes,
Charit,
ma'am.
number 4.
Yes, ma'am.
Sharat. Absent.
Present, ma'am.
You
Present,
want me
ma'am.
to call you 6 times? Good. Sai. Datta Sai.
Yes, ma'am.
Meghna.
Yes, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Jayant. Jayant.
Present, ma'am.
Class లోను ఇదే పరిస్థితి, ఇక్కడైతే పరిస్థితి. Right. Bhargavi, I understood you are present. Nitin.
Present, ma'am.
Priyanka.
Present, ma'am.
Vinod.
Present, ma'am.
Ramakrishna.
Present, ma'am.
Shweta.
Present, ma'am.
Banu.
Present, ma'am.
Prashant.
Present, ma'am.
Monica. Monica.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Kamil. Kamil. Good. Absent. Funny.
Yes, ma'am.
Javeria.
Present, ma'am.
Saad. Saad. Very well. Absent. Shashank.
Present, ma'am.
Shrikant.
Present, ma'am.
Chandrakumar.
Present, ma'am.
Vajahat.
Present, ma'am.
Sadhana.
Present, ma'am.
Very well today. Meghna.
Present, ma'am.
Binduka. Binduka. Absent. Roja. Roja. Absent. Faraz. Number 76. Absent. Sairaj.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, good. Akhil.
Present, ma'am.
Mamta.
Present, ma'am.
Naveen. Number 85.
Present, ma'am.
Roshan.
Present, ma'am.
Arun. Number 90. Arun. In the previous class also you did the same thing. I'm going to cut the last class attendance and also this class. Somebody from B section, whoever is your CR, inform him. Mr. Arun. Yes, Roja, you raised your hand. Is that the indication that you're present? All right, I'll understand that. Number 93. Shahir.
Present, ma'am.
Okay, Sai Kumar.
Present, ma'am.
Adnan.
Present, ma'am.
Venkatesh.
Present, ma'am.
Nandita.
Present, ma'am.
Sai Teja. Sai Teja, number 304. Very well. Absent. 305. Shirisha.
Present, ma'am.
Anita.
Present, ma'am.
Shravanti.
Present, ma'am.
Vandana.
Present, ma'am.
Vandana.
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay. Vandana is here. Srihari.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Ganesh.
Present, ma'am.
Hadi.
Present, ma'am.
Lavan.
Present, ma'am.
Sriram.
Present, ma'am.
Lakshmi Bhavani.
Present, ma'am.
Shiva. Number 320. Shiva. Absent. Shiva.
Present, ma'am. Present.
Okay. Pravalika.
Present, ma'am.
Sai Tejasvi.
Present, ma'am.
Santosh. Number
Present.
26. 326. Santosh.
Present.
Jagdish is telling. I want Santosh
Present,
to tell
ma'am.
that. Right. Jagdish 327.
Present, ma'am.
328. Vijay.
Present, ma'am.
29. Anil.
Present, ma'am.
331. Gautam. Gautam. Very well. Absent. 339. Anil.
Present, madam.
Right. 342. Shivakumar.
Present, ma'am.
Right. I have taken the attendance. The people who are just in the class and who did not respond are going to get a complete absent. All right. You can inform your friends about that. Who's number 77? Rajendra, you raised your hand. And that's for?
Attendance.
Did I call your name? Did I call your name?
No,
I didn't call your name.
I think so.
So you were not listening. Is that so? You know, online classes, madam will just take the attendance from the list. I'll just log in and leave it off. That's the
No.
pattern you people are thinking. Is it not?
No, ma'am, not like that.
I
Just
could
for
see
2
so
minutes.
many people didn't respond. That means that is what is happening. All right. See, when will this happen again? I don't know. It is not like in every class I'm going to do this. But in whichever class I do, at that time, for the past 2 classes, I'll take off the attendance. All right. So
Okay,
be attentive.
Sure.
All right. Are we done with the class? Are we done with the problem? We have to. It's been long now. Shall we see what is the solution? Anybody got the answer? Anyone, please put your hand raised. I'll ask you what would be the answer. Put your hand raised, please. Are you able to see the screen? Nandita, are you able to see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you done with the solution?
No, ma'am.
Okay, anyone who are done with the solution? It's been long now. It's 10:30 already. One member, I want your hand raised. Not even one. I have given you enough time, more than the time that is required for a 2 marks answer. All right, let's see. Meghna? Meghna,
Yes, ma'am.
is it you who is
Hello.
speaking? Meghna, I called. Okay, yeah. Okay, we have two Meghnas. All right, I wanted number 68. Sorry, number 8, not number 8. Number 68, Meghna.
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me the equation of potential energy that you formed for the problem. Equation of potential energy that you formed for the given problem.
Just phi is equals to
Yes.
1/2
Yeah.
K1
Mm.
U1 U1 square plus 1/2 K2 U2 square plus 1/2 K3 U2 minus U1 square minus U1 F1 minus F2 U2 minus F3 U3.
Okay, you're still in the previous problem then.
No, ma'am.
Do we have 3 nodes here? Do we have F3 in the figure? How did you get
Sorry,
F3?
madam. I got 2 notes only. By mistakenly, I wrote F3 U3.
Okay, leave that. And in the second part, you said me half K2 U2 square. Is it?
Yeah, ma'am.
Anybody who wrote the same one? Anybody who wrote the same equation?
Ma'am, I wrote Abdul have
Yes, Hadi, speak out.
half K1 U1 square plus half K2 U1 square plus half K3 U2 minus U1 square
Right.
equals to F1 U1 minus F2 U2.
Why equal to? It is minus F1 U1 and minus F2 U2 is equal to potential energy. That is what we are trying to find out. If you, all right. Meghna, did you understand what mistake you have got?
Yeah, ma'am.
See, in here, please cross check. I'm trying to tell you the solution. We have node 1 and we have node 2 alone. So here we have only 2 extensions, U1 and U2 only. U1 and U2 are the representations for the displacements at node 1 and displacement at node 2 individually. All right. Now we have extensions in the springs. The extensions in the springs will be directly related to the displacements in the respective nodes. So the delta terms will be the terms of U's. All right. So if at all I have to see node 1, node 1 is associated with spring 1 and spring 2. All right. Now if at all I have to see delta 1, delta 1 will be equal to the displacement at node 1 directly, because spring 1 is related to node 1 alone. So delta 1 is equal to U1. When I see delta 2 is this extension in spring 2, which is also related to node 1 only. It is not related to node 2 anywhere. So delta 2 will also be equal to U1 directly. All right. When it comes to node 2 and node 1, spring 3 is related to both of the nodes. So whatever the extension, that is delta 3 you have, will be the combination of both of them, which is U2 minus U1. That is the extensions. So when we are going for the solution, this is how you get. If you check, these are the extensions and this is the equation you form. And when you substitute the values of U's in delta, this is the final equation what you get. Here F1 is at the node 1. What is the force at node 1? which was 100, and which is this F2 is the force at node 2, which is 80. So what is the next procedure? Differentiate the potential energy what you have with respect to U1 once and U2 once and equate it to 0. So the final matrix what you get with respect to K terms and U terms is this one. Is this the same answer you could reach? If not, please note it down. How faster you do, that easy would be. Anyone who got the same solution? You can unmute yourself and speak. Anyone who got the same solution? None of you? So should I assume that what I'm telling is not, no, you're unable to understand that? Should I assume that you're not understanding what I'm teaching you? Is that so? Speak out, guys.
No, ma'am. Symbols. Minor mistakes we done.
Okay. Right. See, the thing you have to understand is we are clearly indicating U terms for the nodes, which are displacements. Delta terms for the springs, which is the extension or the compression, what happens in the deformation that happens in the spring. So please do not get confused. In the very first class of our FEM itself, I have given you the difference between the deformations and the displacements. All right. Whatever deformations happens will be related to displacement. They both are interrelated. Due to the applied load or the external loads that are happening in the member, there is a chances that there could be displacements and also deformations. What is the relation between them is our conscious to understand. All right. So are we done until stiffness matrix part? Guys, are we done with this stiffness matrix form, the last equation?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are done, in the problem, the values of K1, K2, K3 are given. Substitute that in the matrix, solve the matrix and give me the answer for U1 and U2, please. K1, you have 60 Newton per meter. K2, 75 Newton per meter. K3, 100 Newton per meter. That is what is the answer given. That is what is the values of K terms. Substitute the values of K. I ask you people to be ready with your calculators. So giving matrix, that is just a 2 by 2 matrix. Multiplication of 2 by 2 and 2 by 1 is easy. Substitute that in the matrix and give me the answer. One member, please do it. Give me the answer for U1. Keep your hand raised. I'll call you. Matrix multiplication. Any one person, what is U1?
1.33, ma'am.
Exactly. Who's that?
Shirisha.
Thank you, Shirisha. Anyone for U2? Any other person for U2? Any other person for U2, please? All right, Shirisha.
2.1.
Who's that? Who's that?
Nitin.
Yes, Nitin, give the answer.
2.13.
Right, right, very good. Thank you. See, substituting the values of K1, K2 and K3, this is the solution you get. U1 1.333, U2 2.133. You have to get these answers. So how the numericals are solved also we could see in this problem, right? So the thing is, not just forming the equilibrium equations or not just forming the matrix form will not end the problem. If at all the question is only to form the equations, very well, we are done with the solution. If at all the force values and stiffness values are already given to you, then you should be able to give the answers for U1, U2. All right. There are chances that stiffness and displacements will be given and you are asked to find out the F value. That will not be difficult. See, once we are to this part, once we reach to this matrix form where any two terms, if they are given, the other term can be easily found out. All right. Are we clear this until here? Are we clear until this point? Are we clear until this point?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So till now we have seen the spring problems. All right. There are much chances that in your short answers, the compulsory question where you have to give the answers for 2 marks, there is always a possibility that you get spring problems more. All right. But if at all it is a complicated spring system that would be given with number of nodes or number of springs are more but nodes are less, in that case also maybe you can get a problem with for 5 marks with which would be a combination with the other question. All right. So spring problems are important. All right. Many a times, whether it was elective finite elements or whether it was core from your previous direct seniors, spring problems are always been in the questions. All right. Make sure you understand the spring problems concept clearly. All right. Now what we do, we have seen all the spring problems till now, but we have to understand that when it comes to the complicated structures, or say suppose a one-dimensional element, maybe a bar element or maybe a beam element, how is it possible to take the potential energy approach and solve it? How do we take the Rayleigh-Ritz method and solve it? All right. So we'll do one such problem. Now we are losing time, so we cannot go for the previous year question paper problem now in this class. In Tuesday's class, we'll see that problem. All right. Now see, this is the problem where we have to analyze the given linear elastic one-dimensional rod. All right. See, here we are trying to analyze a one-dimensional rod, which is shown in the figure, whose potential energy equation is given to us. Very good. We don't have to create a potential energy equation all by ourselves. We have an equation that is already given. We just have to solve the equation. All right. Or we just have to analyze the equation so that we can get what are the answers of U. All right. And when they have given you a one-dimensional elastic problems, remember, analyze elastic problems, you have to give the relation between stress and strain at the end of the solution. All right. You will get the values of U if you solve using Rayleigh-Ritz method. Very well. After that, because you have the relation between displacements to strain and stress to strain, you should be able to give the answer with respect of stress strain relation as the end of our solution. All right. When it is about analysis, please remember that. All right. It is analyze the elastic problems. Right. You note down the equation of potential energy. And here in the equation, it is half integration of 0 to L. That is the overall length of the one-dimensional rod. E into A, dou U by dou X. That is the strain. dou u by dou x whole square into dx minus 2u1. What is this u1 term is? Where x is equal to 1, what is the value of displacement is u1. All right. So that is what is the given question. Now we'll see what is the one-dimensional rod. Look at this. This is the one-dimensional rod we have, whose overall length, the L value is 2, given value of E is 1, area is 1. All right. And here, this is the point where it is x is equal to 1 part is there. X is equal to 1. So at x is equal to 1, which means here we have u1 happening. All right. Did you take the question? Did you take the figure? Did you take the figure?
No, ma'am.
Faster, please. We don't have time. We cannot solve the problem in this time. It is already 10:40. 10:48. It's 10:50. We have only 15 minutes to go. I hope in 15 minutes we'll complete this. For the next problem, we have to wait for the next class. I need one yes. If at all you have taken the figure.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Thank you. See here, in x direction, the load is applied. All right. And in, we have the rod constrained at both the ends. That is the boundary condition of the rod, which means u will be equal to 0 at x is equal to 0. There will not be any displacement. It is a fixed support. All right. And also u will be equal to 0 at x is equal to 2. That is the boundary condition. Only when there is x is equal to 1, there is a displacement happening, which is u2. That is given in the problem. So these are the boundary conditions what we have for this given one-dimensional rod. Did you understand what did I tell? The boundary conditions, did you understand? I'm waiting for your response.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. Now, well, we'll go for the solution. All right. Let us consider a second-degree polynomial function. See, I said when we are going for the potential energy approach for the three-dimensional elastic problems we have seen in the derivation, we consider that in terms of polynomial functions. All right. The reason here to take the second-degree polynomial function, if you clearly check in the given equation of potential energy, our displacement term is a second-degree term. All right. So we will consider going for our second-degree polynomial function. All right. So this might be a polynomial function which I am considering for the given one-dimensional rod. All right. Why am I considering this? We have clearly seen in Rayleigh-Ritz method derivation. All right. I hope you remember. Is there any people who don't remember why we are taking a polynomial function? Get back to the Rayleigh-Ritz method and see it. All right. So now what are the boundary conditions I have told you? X is equal to 0, our u value is 0. There is no displacement at x is equal to 0. There is no displacement at x is equal to 2 also. So what we are going to do? Substitute x is equal to 0 in our considered polynomial equation or polynomial function to get the values of the arbitrary constants that we have taken, a1, a2 and a3. All right, substitute that. The taken polynomial function has to satisfy the boundary conditions at x is equal to 0 and x is equal to 2. Now see, u is equal to 0 at x is equal to 2 and x is equal to 0. I'll substitute x is equal to 0 first. Is this the answer that I'm getting? X is equal to 0 if I take? Substitute the value of x is equal to 0 in the given equation, that's all. Is it not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Then substituting x is equal to 2 in the given equation. This is the equation I already have. See, x is equal to 0 if I substitute, these two terms are eliminated. Right? If x is equal to 2 if I substitute, we have 2a2 here and 4a3 here. So that is the second option. In both the cases, the value of u is 0. So both are equated to 0. Right? Now comparing these two equations, a1 is 0 from the previous one. Right? Now what will this become? From both the equations, we get a2 is equal to minus 2a3. Substituting this in this one, if we consider, it is 2a2 is equal to minus 4a3. Right? 2 is gone. Now it is a2 is equal to minus 2a3. Did you get? Did you get this?
Yes, ma'am.
Now we have all the terms. We have a1 term, we have a2 term in terms of a3. So arbitrary constants what we have taken in the polynomial functions, all the three values, what we have to do? We have to substitute in the taken polynomial equation. All right. So this is the final equation what you get if you substitute the values of a1, a2 and a3 in the considered u value. So let us take this as equation number 1. Did you get the same one if you have substituted the values of a1 and a2 in the given equation? Guys, please respond.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I got 2 S's, or I don't know whether the S is from the same person. Right. We got the value of u in terms of a3 now. So let us take this equation as equation number 1. All right. There is another constraint in the equation. That is u1 is the displacement at x is equal to 1. There was a term u1 in the given equation, which means u is where x is equal to 1. So to get u1, substitute the value of x is equal to 1 in the equation number 1. We will get the value of u1. Did we get the same value? Substitute x is equal to 1 in equation number 1 will give you u1 value. Did we get this? Did we get this?
Yes, ma'am. We got this.
Okay, thank you. Now from the given potential energy equation, do we have all the terms available with us? See, we have E value and A value given in the figure directly. We got U value now, which we have to differentiate with respect to X. And we also got U1 value. So all the terms that are present in the potential energy equation, all the terms we have ready now. So let us take U1 as equation number 2, and we have U as A3 into minus 2x plus x2 in our equation number 1. So differentiating the equation U with respective x to get the value of du by dx in the equation. This is what the answer we get. Try to differentiate the u value and tell me, are you getting the same one? We are just trying to get the individual terms in the given potential energy equation so that when we do the partial differentiation, it will become easy for us. All right. So differentiating the equation number 1 of u, with respective x. That is the solution we get. Is it not? See, to do differentiation and the integrations, if you're taking so long, yes,
Yes.
you got it? Right.
Yes, ma'am.
See,
Yes, ma'am.
differentiation and integrations, you have to do it faster. If we take for one problem, if you're doing the differentiation, you're taking it so long, you cannot solve your FEM answer sheet. When the external paper is given, 3 hours would not be sufficient for you. You have to learn doing it faster, right? Now we'll take this as equation number 3. So from 2 and 3, we'll substitute the values what we have got directly into the given potential energy equation. See, this is how I can get. E is equal to 1, A is equal to 1, so one term is gone. And then du by dx whole square was there. This is my du by dx from equation number 3. And this is my u1 from equation number 2. So I just substituted the values of this one. Now, differentiation you took so long. Let's see how much time will you take for integration. Integrate the potential energy equation what you have. I given you the limits also. It was 0 to L in the given question. What is the L here? 2. So 0 to 2 is your limits. And this is your equation. Solve the integration. I'm giving you time. This is the equation we have. I just reduced it more, taking out the square term. You have to integrate it faster. Reducing the equation a little bit more, I could reach here. And finally, after integrating, this is the value where I'll reach. Please let me know if it's the same answer you could get. You have to reach it, okay? You have to reach to the same answer. If at all you did not reach to the same answer, there must be some minor mistakes you might have committed. Please cross-check. Give me a yes once you reach to this point, please. We don't have much time. We are hardly left over with 5 more minutes to complete this. If not, you will not get the break time for the next class. Just an integration for a second degree equation. You're taking long. Anyone, yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, who was that?
Monica, ma'am.
Monica, thank you. Right. All right. Now looking at the equation that is already given to you, you can note it down. Looking at the equation, what is the variable in the equation which we can use for doing the partial differentiation here? It's not an IIT question. It's just seen in the answer. There is only one variable over there.
A3, madam.
That's what. Now what we have to do to minimize the potential energy, we have to differentiate the available potential energy equation, that is this equation, with respect to A3 and then equate it to 0. So write down, taking this as equation number 4, minimizing equation number 4 and equating it to 0 with respect to A3. Do it and give me the answer for A3. You will get a finite answer for A3 here. When you differentiate the available potential energy equation and equate it to 0, you will get a finite value of A3, not in terms of anything. Direct a numerical term for A3 you will get. What is that?
Minus 3/4, ma'am.
Minus
Okay.
0.75.
Okay, decimals I'll consider more. Thank you. It is 0.75, right? So whoever didn't get it, you can see this. A3, this is actually the differentiation part. I just wrote it as pi, sorry. A3 is the value minus 0.75, right? So A1 from the equation, if you saw, it was 0. Whereas A2 value was minus 2A3. Is it not? Now A3 we have a value. And U1 was minus A3. So all the terms were related to A3 directly. So we have the value of A3. So U1 will become minus A3, which is plus 0.75. So to consider the boundary conditions, at U is equal to 0, at X is equal to 0, U is equal to 0, at X is equal to 2. We had only U1 happening, which is X is equal to 1. So what is that displacement happening at X is equal to 1 is our 0.75. This is one part of the solution where we reached analysis. But I already said you, when analysis is asked, we have to be clear to give the relation between stress and strain. All right. So now if at all I have to relate stress and strain, see, this is the relation I have. Sigma is equal to E into strain. Here what is the strain? Change in the displacement. Right? We know what is U. All right. We know what is U because U is A1 plus A2x plus A3x square. Right? A1 is equal to 0. A2 is minus 2A3. A3 is minus 0.75. So A2 will become minus 1.5. So substituting that in the equation and solving this equation, we will get the relation between stress and strain as sigma is equal to 1.5 into 1 minus x. That is the answer for the analysis, that is the completion of analysis of the given one-dimensional rod. We could give the relation between stress and strain at various points of X. So this is the final answer what we could reach. If at all it is where we reached here is also fine. The U1, that is the displacement at X is equal to 1. What if the displacement is asked somewhere in between? Maybe at X is equal to 0.5 or X is equal to 1.5 because the whole length is from 0 to 2. So displacement, what is happening in the displacement in the in between the span, if at all because of that, what is the stress happening in the member, we have to solve. Then this will help us getting the solution. Substitute the value of X, it will give you the relation between stress and strain directly. Did you understand the problem? I need the answer, please. Are we done with this problem? Did you understand how did we get this? Any doubts so far? Any doubts so
Ma'am,
far?
E value ఏమైంది? E
E
value.
is 1 kada. E is 1 is given in the problem. E is equal to 1, A is equal to 1.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
You have to check the problem properly. Did you get that, Shirisha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In the problem value, if you see the figure directly, the value of E is given as 1. I just substituted the value of E as 1. That's all. Any more doubts? Any more doubts? Guys, I'm asking you. Any more doubts? None of you is speaking. So I'll assume that you are clear with what topic we have seen today.
Yes.
Rajender. Yes, Rajender? All right. In the next class, which is on Tuesday, before that, I'll post you in the files the previous year question paper, which paper your immediate seniors had. All right, because that is the first FET paper after it is made a core subject. So for the CBCS basically. So you can directly expect the pattern and the type of questions from that one. So in that question paper, Rayleigh-Ritz method, a problem is given for 10 marks. All right. In the next class, we are going to solve that problem. All right. Please check the question paper. I'll post it in the files. And the recorded videos of this, we are asked to remove from the files because it is becoming slow. You know, the lagging problem is coming a lot. So we are asked to upload that into a YouTube channel and to give you the link. I'll do that in this coming day. By tomorrow, I'll do that. All the videos will be uploaded to YouTube channel and I'll send you the links. Okay, so you can check back all the video classes from those YouTube link. And if you have any doubts, please contact me. Right? I'll end the session for today. And whoever attendance is taken manually today, only those people will get the attendance. CRs of both the sections, please talk to the students and mention that attendance is clearly based on their presence in the class, not whether they have been in the seen just in the meeting or not. All right. Javeria, last slide. Time is already over, but okay, because it's last slide, I'm showing you again. Are you able to see?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, one second. Right.
Ma'am,
Yes?
answer 1.5 into x minus 1 వస్తుంది ma'am.
Is it?
Yeah.
How? You did.
A2 is minus 2A3, no ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, so the x will be positive and the A2 value will be negative, no ma'am.
A3 where you have A3, there again it is minus, right? U is equal to, if you substitute, U is equal to, A1 is 0, A2 A2 is plus 1.5 plus 1.5x minus 0.75 x square. This is the equation of U.
Ma'am, A2y plus 1.5x, ma'am.
A3 is minus 0.75. What is A2?
Okay.
Minus 2A3. So minus into minus plus, right?
Okay, ma'am.
Minute mistakes.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
No, that is not happening. Javeria, can I close it? It's okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in the next class, guys. You have any doubts, please come back. We'll solve the previous year paper problem in the next Tuesday's class, and then we will start with the Galerkin's method. All right. Thank you very much. I've taken the attendance. I'll have to stop the recording.